think twice before you do something. Don't bow to pressure. Don't succumb to pressure. Pressure caused me to lose my dad at early age. And I know there are so many who go under pressure. I'm very observant. And sometimes when I'm a driver in the car, greetings to all of you, those who are watching from different countries, different continents. It's nice to have you on our show, and I want to greet you. Does not matter where you are. It could be night time, it could be daytime, maybe you are working, and maybe you are just somewhere sitting alone, like the way I'm just here talking to you. I just want to greet you all, and as I've been talking to you in different times, different topics. I want your comments so that we can become better and work together in this and make our lives better. Now today's topic is very interesting, and I'm saying it's more interesting because it's a topic about men, but here is a woman talking about men, and I talk about men because I am a mother of 2 sons, ranging between 42 and 30s, and I'm also a mother of 2 daughters, ranging at the same time, 40s to 30s, and I'm talking from an informed point of view. Mine is very simple, and the topic I'm going to engage us about is about where do men go to? What do men do when they are in trouble, when they are faced with challenges, when nobody is there, not there for them? I've been thinking about it, and it's because as a businesswoman and as a mother, I interact more with men because of the kind of work I do of real estate construction, and in my companies have more men than women. Where do men go when things are not working for them? Who do they go to? Where do they seek refuge? Because we are always talking about gender. And when we talk about gender, we tend to lean too much towards the woman as a weak person, as a person in danger, as a person in need, the person who needs to be cared for. But we forget that gender is either way, it's men and women. But nobody talks about the man. I'm saying this with all due respect for women and due respect for men, but it's because it has been worrying me about the man. That is man in the family. The series I'll talk about will be man in the family, man in school, man at the place of work, man in the church, and man in the world as general. And there will be series, and I ask you to follow so that you can benefit and draw some strength as a man. And for men, I want to congratulate you for being men. It's not a mistake that you are born to be men. But today I want to talk about pressure. Men have seen and I've observed men go through pressure, but the way they handle pressure, they don't shout, they'll just react. You see a man walking, and you can tell this man something is not good. Another man is walking, you can tell this something is good because of the way a person is walking with confidence. But you see a man, when they are faced with problems, they tend to internalize it. And they tend to keep it to themselves. And I'll give an example. I'll give an example of my dad. My dad was in the army in 50s and early 60s. And my dad had married my mom, who I was very close to. I was close to my dad too. And one time, late 50s, early 60s, my dad became quite rich for those times with the farming. He was growing coffee, cypress trees for timber, sugarcane plantation, orange fruit orchards. I knew all the fruits which people are enjoying today. And the work became so much. And he asked my mom to employ workers to assist her. My mom employed, and she noticed the workers were not committed. So she decided she needed more help. And she told my mom, when my dad came for holidays, she requested him whether he could marry a second wife so that she could be a helper to my mom. My dad, many times my dad did not like it, and this is my mom telling me. My dad never liked it. So, because of the pressure, all the time he came, the pressure from my mom, putting pressure on him to have a second wife, he told my mom, what you do, go and look for a wife for me. And I'll marry the one you will feel comfortable, so that I don't bring a person who you will not be comfortable with. So my mom, she told her sisters and her aunties, and what they did, they looked for a girl for my dad to marry. And it's very interesting. My mom was fair color, brown, so they thought my dad wanted a brown woman also, because she thought my dad loved her because she was brown. So they looked for a similar brown lady, a young girl, and she accepted. And when my dad came, they said, we have chosen this one, you marry this one. And to cut the story short, they got married, but it was due to pressure, because the consequences of that marriage, it costed me my dad, who died when I was in standard 3, class 3, grade 3. My dad had to die that early because of that choice. Bad choices, because of pressure. Pressure caused me to lose my dad at a very young age. You might ask what happened. What happened? My dad was away from work most of the time because as a man of the defense in the country during colonial time, he was to stay away from home for most of the time. So this young woman, she decided to have affairs with his young brother, their last born. They became so close, they became like man and wife, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. My dad was so kind, he even got a job for the same brother in the army as a driver. But only little did he know that this was a brother but an enemy. He was too trusting as he was the first son of the family. To cut the story short, and because of time, and to show that pressure is not good, when the relationship became so thick and so much, after many years, 10 years or so, my dad had come for holidays. And as usual, he went to visit my brother, who was a neighbor, to take gifts to him. And because the brother could not stand seeing my dad now, and he's having a relationship with a wife, this young wife, The brother poisoned my dad with the sulfuric acid. He drank, he gave him tea, he drank. And I remember my dad screaming and saying, coming home after visiting the brother and saying, if I die today, it's my brother, you ask him what he has done to me. My dad never knew what was happening. He never knew about the relationship. And nobody told him. But the brother knew. And in less than 6 hours, my dad passed on. Sulfuric acid burning all his intestines. By the time they took him to hospital, he was gone and he died. The young brother knew what he'd done. My other brothers knew what was happening, but my dad was dead. He died innocent man. But my brothers, they were mad. They told the villagers, and this uncle had to run away from home for many years. He had to shift from the town where we were staying, the village, and went to a village more than 200 kilometers from home. And eventually, God also showed he vindicated my dad. He died later of cancer. And when he died, this uncle, the villagers said they would never bury him. So they were being forced by the chief to bury him, but they could not bow to that pressure. Eventually, he was buried by his in-laws, and that was the end of him. But more so, my dad, if he never succumbed to pressure of his wife, who was my mother, my dad would have lived for a longer time. So I'm talking to you men, sons, brothers, fathers. You are beautifully and handsomely created by God, just the way you are. Say no to pressure. Say no to pressure, no matter what kind of pressure. It might be coming from your immediate family, from your friends, from the place of work. It could be because of economical pressure that you are lacking money, you don't have much, or you have nothing. Just say no to pressure. Be yourself. Think twice before you do something. Don't bow to pressure. Don't succumb to pressure. Pressure caused me to lose my dad at early age. And I know there are so many who go under pressure. I'm very observant. And sometimes when I'm a driver in the car, in my car, and you hear somebody calling him, and you hear a voice of a woman, and he says, I'll call you back. He says politely, I'll call you back. And she'll say, and you disconnect. She'll call again. You say you'll call me back after just 5 minutes. The guy will say, I'll call you back. And you can see a person getting tense. And here he's driving. He's driving the car. You even tell him, park the car beside me. I'll drive myself. Because there's pressure from somewhere. Do not succumb to pressure. Because sometime when I read the book of Genesis, Adam was created. And God said, this is good. And then things were good until the woman was created. And then the woman came and brought these problems. She listened to the snake and she put Adam in problems. Sometimes I ask, are women the ones putting pressure on the men? Or are men creating their own pressure? No matter the situation, no matter the corner where you are in this world, as you hear this message, just sit back and don't succumb to pressure. Pressure is deadly. It will disorient you. You can't function. Be yourself. What you feel comfortable with. You might say, what is not pressure now? It's what you feel comfortable with. That is what is not pressure. You don't need to work so much and you cannot rest. You get worked up. The boss is putting so much pressure on you. There's so much you can handle. And that's why the Bible tells us, when Jesus taught us how to pray, he says, give us this day our daily bread. That means He did not say, give us this week the weekly bread. He said, give us the daily bread. And live each day, because each day has enough problems. And when there are pressures and so forth, also, you can talk to somebody. You look for somebody you can trust. There are things you can get out of if you can only look for somebody you can share with. And with that few remarks, men, I salute you. Yes, you are not in this world by chance. You are not in this world by mistake, but say no to pressure. I hope you join me in another segment, part 2 of the man, the male child. I'm an advocate for men because I feel there is something missing in our generation.